The story kicks off in a grim prison located in Hong Kong, where chaos reigns as prisoners brawl violently. Amid the turmoil is a man named Chan Ho Ching, who oddly enough, doesn't seem to mind being locked up. In fact, he appears to enjoy it, almost treating prison life like a strange form of amusement. Chan is currently serving a 3-month term for theft. During his time there, he receives a visit from 2 important women in his life, his mother and his girlfriend, Sweet E. Their visit brings a bright smile to Chan's face, especially Sweet E's, who eagerly awaits the day he'll be released. Meanwhile, a new inmate named Mac Kinton is introduced. Unlike Chan, Mac finds the prison experience to be a living nightmare. As the new guy, he becomes an easy target and suffers abuse at the hands of his cellmates. Mac, in fact, used to be a professional architect, but his life turned upside down when he was framed by his closest friend. That friend blamed him for a massive fire in a building project, a disaster that resulted in numerous deaths. Now, Mac is fighting to clear his name through the legal system while trying to survive the daily brutality inside. Back in their cell block, we meet the feared leader of the prison's underworld, Lai Zichun, also called Lai. He's a cold-blooded gangster doing a life sentence for murder. After one particularly violent incident, guards storm in to end the fight and drag everyone to Warden Tang's office. Tang warns them to cut the nonsense. He's aiming for a job promotion and doesn't want their misbehavior to derail his plans. The following day, Mac is seen sitting alone, lost in thought, overwhelmed by the harshness of prison life. At that moment, Chan approaches him and introduces himself. He gives Mac advice on surviving in a place crawling with dangerous people. Chan explains that the prison is run by 2 main gangs, Lai's and another led by a feared man named Lam Kwok Lung, better known as Big Roller. That same day, Lam is released from solitary confinement, greeted like a king by his crew. Lam's backstory reveals that he's serving a 20-year sentence for killing multiple people. Years ago, while returning home with his wife, they were attacked. Lam managed to fend off the assailants, but their child got hurt in the scuffle. Tragically, that child later died in a fire at a building connected to Mac's past work. Later, Lam's wife visits him in prison and delivers heart-wrenching news: their daughter perished in the fire. She believes the blaze was orchestrated by enemies seeking revenge. Following that visit, Lam never saw his wife again and lost the last connection to his daughter. Elsewhere, Warden Tang pulls Lam aside and urges him to behave if he doesn't want to return to solitary. Lam remains silent, but his expression says everything. It's also clear that Tang favors Lai over Lam when it comes to who runs things inside. Chan later suggests to Mac that he should align himself with Lam's gang for protection. Mac agrees, and Chan arranges a meeting between the two. When they meet, Lam is in the middle of praying for his deceased daughter. After Chan tells Lam that Mac wants to join his crew, Lam shockingly attacks Mac. Chan is taken aback. He didn't expect the sudden violence, and it hints at a hidden history between the 2 men. Later, Chan receives distressing news from Sweet E. Her mother is critically ill, suffering from kidney failure, and needs a transplant immediately. Chan volunteers to donate his kidney but needs to leave prison to do it. He begs Warden Tang for temporary release, but the warden refuses, worried it will ruin his promotion chances. Chan keeps pleading, but Tang won't budge. As punishment, Chan is forced to run laps around the field, but all he can think about is his mother. Desperate, he attempts an escape by climbing the barbed wire fence, but guards stop him in time. Surprisingly, they don't report his attempt. While out in the yard, Chan notices a guard clearing debris near a small tunnel. That sparks a new idea. He starts plotting an escape through that hole. Meanwhile, Mac continues to suffer horrific abuse from Lai's gang. One day, they torture him so brutally that even his fingernails are torn off. Broken and desperate, Mac contemplates ending his life. Thankfully, Chan finds him just in time and convinces him to help plan an escape. Chan recalls the hole he saw earlier and thinks it could lead outside. Mac agrees without hesitation. He wants out in revenge against the friend who betrayed him. Using his architectural skills, Mac studies the prison layout. But it's no easy feat. The place is crawling with 120 surveillance cameras. Still, Mac persists. Eventually, he discovers a potential path through the sewers and an air duct in the workshop, which Lamb controls. The challenge is getting into the workshop without alerting Lamb's crew. Still, Chan is determined. Then, Mac is unexpectedly visited by Wing, the so-called friend who framed him. Wing shows no remorse and warns Mac to drop his appeal or face even more trouble. Worse yet, it's revealed that Wing paid Lai to torture Mac in prison. Enraged, Mac vows revenge. Later, Chan comes up with a brilliant plan. He shows Lamb a photo that looks exactly like his supposedly deceased daughter. Lamb is stunned. Chan had asked Sweet E to investigate, and they discovered Lamb's daughter is alive and even about to get married. Overcome with emotion, Lamb agrees to help Chan escape, touched by the thought of reuniting with his child. Together, Lamb, Mac, and Chan begin planning. First, they aim to crawl through the vents to the electrical room to cut the power and distract the guards. Then, they'll sneak into the admin room and escape through the sewers, where Sweet E will pick them up. They get to work. Chan manages to loosen one bolt in the vent. Mac melts plastic bottle caps and crafts a makeshift screwdriver to open the rest. But just as they're about to crawl in, a guard approaches. They quickly reseal the vent. They decide they need a duplicate of the G key, which unlocks the admin gate. During lunch, they pull off a clever trick to coat the key with slime, but Chan squeezes it too hard and ruins the mold. They try again later. This time, Mac pretends to vomit on a guard, sending him running to clean up. That gives Chan the chance to get the slime mold right, and they successfully create a duplicate. They head to the vents again, but find a grate blocking their way. As they search for a workaround, Lai's gang attacks. A fight breaks out between both factions. The chief warden intervenes, punishing Lai's crew with solitary confinement. To settle the escalating tension, the warden proposes a duel between Lai and Mac. Since Mac is injured, Lamb steps in to fight instead. During the brawl, Lamb overpowers Lai, breaking his arm and winning the fight. Lai is taken away for treatment, while Lamb, Mac, and Chan are thrown into solitary. There, they reflect on what they'll do once they're out. Chan wants to save his mother, Lamb wants to see his daughter, and Mac wants revenge. They decide Mac will stay behind to reduce suspicion while Lamb and Chan escape. In return, Lamb promises to protect Mac from Lai's gang. With a hacksaw hidden inside a Bible, they begin cutting through the ventilation bars. But Warden Tang becomes suspicious and orders Lai to spy on them in the workshop. Despite this, they push forward. When the warden arrives unexpectedly, they stall him until Chan returns. The warden questions Lai, who oddly claims not to have seen anything. Tang is unconvinced and checks the vents himself, only to find Chan hiding in the bathroom. To everyone's surprise, Lai reveals he knows about the escape plan and wants in. At first, Lamb refuses, but Lai threatens to flush the stolen key unless he's included. With no time to argue, they reluctantly agree to bring him along. On the night of a prison festival, the escape begins. Sweetie waits outside while the warden is distracted by guests. Mac acts as a lookout, but the warden receives a tip about an escape attempt. Chan and Lai reach the electrical room but accidentally trigger an alarm instead of cutting power. Officers rush in. Mac creates a diversion by riling up other inmates. Meanwhile, Chan works on unlocking the admin gate. Tensions rise as Lai tries to boss Lamb around, leading to another scuffle. Mac arrives just in time to knock Lai out, allowing them to proceed. They reach the sewer gate, but the cover is stuck. With the warden closing in, Mac sacrifices himself by drawing the guards away. Chan urges Lamb to escape alone. Lamb flees through the sewer and is soon picked up by Sweet E. He heads straight to his daughter's wedding. His wife is shocked but confesses she lied, telling their daughter that Lamb died in prison. Lamb doesn't confront her, he just wants a moment with his family. His daughter, unaware of his identity, sees a smiley face on a plate and realizes her father had attended the ceremony. Back at the prison, Chan and Mac are hospitalized. Chan finally donates his kidney to his mother, who begins to recover. Lamb later returns to prison, where his wife and daughter visit him. Mac gets his revenge. Wing ends up in prison and suffers the same torment he caused. Mac rises as a respected figure inside. Even Wing is now harassed by Lai's old gang.